Okay, I was just on here. I hope it wasn't recording me because I was not trying to record at that in that particular moment. But earlier, I got on here and I was discussing the struggles and the struggles and some of the real challenges as being a single mother. And in that video, in that live, I had said, maybe it would be beneficial for me to come back at some time and give some actionable items on things to do to help manage those stressors, to make sure that as single mothers, we create some, bandwidth to be able to do what we got to do as single moms, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is being able to identify markers. Identify where, as a single mother, instead of waiting till we feel overwhelmed and ready to just whatever, being able to identify some of the things to let us know, hey, let me manage this, let me get in and kind of tweak things before it get there. So I talked about, it's overwhelming. Being a single mother, you're everything. Not only are you everything to your children, but you have to somehow manage and deal with you. All of that can be a bit much. So one of the things I think, like identifying markers, and I'm a say some things so that we can be able to say, oh yeah, I do experience that. Because I think a lot of times in our community, we experience things that we consider to be normal and that's just the way it is. But in reality, it's not normal and that's not the way it's supposed to be. But because of family pathology and historical events, our historical pathology, we've been wired a different way, and we have learned maladaptive behaviors that is destructive. And when I say maladaptive behavior, meaning behaviors that we kind of just had to grow into just to be able to cope and survive whatever it is we're dealing with. Whether it was, and more than likely those were not positive or healthy coping skills. But one of the things to identify is being a single mom, right? How many kids do you have? If it's more than one, maybe two, depending on, I think two is definitely more easier to manage and cope and deal with versus somebody with 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids, 8 kids, 9 kids, 10 kids, or children, right? And the reality is that in some of our communities, in our more vulnerable communities, which is the communities that I'm talking about, hey cousin, and the communities that, have the women that I'm talking about, like the communities I come from. When you, as a single mother, when we have that many kids, and when I say single mother, not a boyfriend, I don't talk about boyfriends. Like, you single if you're not married. You single if, I'll go as far as say, if you single if the man in your life does not, provide some kind of support and help that relieve you to be able to, show up in your best self. If like, and I know us as women, we can identify and we know this and we deal with this, but that's a single woman, okay? And I'm not going to get too much into that because that's a whole nother topic. But as a single mother, if you have I would say 3 kids or more, that is a indicator that stress levels and the challenges of being a single mother can be more alarming, okay? So 3 children or more, that's a risk factor. I'm writing as I go because that's how I got to process. I'm looking down and writing, and it's just my way of articulating. Okay, that's just the wonders of being Gayla, and how I learn and process. So 3 or more children, that's a risk factor. Okay, that make you more vulnerable. Not being single. So we identify single. You're not married. And again, let me put a little emphasis on this, is that just because you married, you still may be single. Okay? Because sometimes we are married and our mates are not really supportive financially, or you know what I'm saying, we don't have that sense of support that allows us to feel secure, that allows us to feel as though as a mother and as a provider or a caregiver or the woman of this house, sometimes our relationships don't allow us to feel the kind of security that we need to feel to show up. Okay? So what are you saying? Meaning we could be in a relationship, but the man don't contribute financially. We could be in a relationship, but emotionally the man, don't create a safe place for us to feel secure emotionally or psychologically. That's another barrier. You could be in a relationship, but the man ain't there. You know what I'm saying? It's all on you. So that's an indicator that, that's a risk factor. So unmarried, single. Okay. What else? What else is some markers are identified? Okay, having stair steppers or children in the home, and the home itself has a sense of chaotic. The home itself does not have a quiet atmosphere. It does not have a very structured atmosphere. All through the day, maybe it's kids running through the house, kids yelling through the house. There's no order. There's no structure. The kids in the house, but you don't know who doing what. All of those. Okay, so that's an indicator. That's a marker too. So an unmanaged home, we're going to call that unmanaged home. Right now, I'm just listing barriers or markers that indicate that as a single mom, we may need to address some things, alter some things, so that we don't get to that place of feeling toxic stress and overwhelmed, okay? So an unmanaged home, okay? After I list these, I'm going to go back and I'm going to give some actionable items, because that's what I said I was going to do. So unmanaged home, maybe another stressor, unruly. I don't want to use the word unruly, but Unruly children, that's not the word I'm looking for though. Let's just say not unruly children, because that's not what I'm talking about. I don't think. More so where, maybe there is the natural things that occur between the parental and the child relationship due to growth change, right? Due to, just it's a word that I'm looking for. I just learned about it and I cannot think of it. Jesus, I just wrote it down because for school. I just what's the word? I'm not gonna be able to find it. Normative age graded influence. Woo! Get it, girl. Get it, girl. That's that education. So normative age graded influence. So these are just things that just happen just because that's what it happens. Maybe like a kid going into teenage, okay? Normally there's some little conflict between the parent and the child. Why? Because the child is becoming in their own independence. Maybe they're hanging out more, creating these things and these issues. I don't know who that is, but love you. Let me do my heart. Love you too. Those kind of things just naturally put strain and stress on the relationship between the single mother and her child. Okay. So, that's what I want to call this. Normative age graded influence. God, I bet my teacher would be proud of me if she could see this. Using this in an applied way. I hope I better pass this test. So, okay, normative age influence. Those are kind of stressors. What else? Job. Okay? Money. Maybe just money. Not enough of money. I definitely have some actionable items for that to empower an individual moving forward, okay? Not enough money, lack of skills or trade that's lucrative, okay? Okay, lucrative. So not enough money, lack of skills or trade that is lucrative. So this create another sense of stress. We have to start leaning more on subsidy, right? Because maybe the father, I got to get back to that. That's a stressor. Maybe they're financially, even though you work in 2 jobs or 3 jobs, there's just not enough money you're bringing in because they're what they call it, minimum wage based jobs, and no matter how much you work, it's still not enough to support and take care of all of the needs for your household, right? That's very real. And so in situations like that, I know I grew up off of subsidy. I use subsidy now. Temporarily, let me say this, women, subsidy is not for you to be on it forever and ever. Amen. Subsidy is not something that you get on and then you pass that down to your children like it's a house of inheritance. That is not what that is for. That's another reason why the MAGA has been able to do and make the strides that they've made, because we've been having this thing all messed up, okay? Subsidy is to allow an individual or a family to help them for a duration of time. Meaning, you do not get on Section 8 with your 5 kids and never go further your education to get yourself in a situation where you don't need it at all. Okay? That's not what that's for. The proper way to utilize it, the proper way is supposed to be implemented, is that if you are fortunate enough as a single mother who do work, who don't just sit around, have babies, sell stamps to get their nails done, because it amazes me how I see women they on subsidy and all of this stuff, but they keep their bundles, they keep their baby hair with lace fronts, and their hair. This is a marker. This is another marker. Wasteful spending. This is my dyslexia up in here running on me. Now I'm gonna put right here nails, bundles, damn it, and booze, dope, weed, pills, whatever you on. Oh, and the newest iPhone. These are right here are all indicators. Men, brothers, when you see that, that's an indicator. I think that's enough for right now. Structured home. Did I put that in here? Unmanaged home. Okay. All right. So, those things. Oh, and father. Baby daddies. So if you have more than one, it don't matter how many baby daddy you have, fathers of your children you have. It could be 1, it could be 10. It don't matter. If they are not consistent with picking up the child, taking time with the child, consistent with providing financial support. These are all factors. I'm sorry, I'm looking down because I'm writing. Okay, so I said I was gonna get on here, talk about some actionable items that can help us. One thing I wanted to say was how to identify these markers, how to be able to identify in our life. Are we at risk as single mothers to feeling overwhelmed? Are we at risk, or do we have any markers in our life that says, there's some clear risk factors here that can create some barriers or prevent me from showing up as a mother and as a caregiver for myself and my household? Is there any factors that can be hindering that? So this is how we can determine, and if any of these are going on. I'm gonna say if 2 or more of these is going on. No. If one of them is going on, we are at risk. If you have more than 4, we are at what they call, like, you know how they have the ACE score, the Adverse Childhood Experience score. What that says is if any of these forms of neglect or abuse happen in your childhood, any 4 of them happen, you are at higher risk of developing drug addiction. You are health issues that could cause you to die earlier, premature death, end up in jail, just struggling in life and unable to thrive. Okay, you existing, you living, but you not thriving. Okay, that okay. If 4 of these things I'm listing, 4 or more, we need to hone in and get an action plan for you. Or you need, and if you need help with this, call me 409-998-5151 or inbox me. And if I cannot help you with the information that I have, I will connect you to a community member that has the information I have. And if you are in another city or county or state, please don't let that stop you, because I will Google and find out. Or if you're in California, I will make some phone calls and find out, because I can get that information to you too if you don't already have it, which I'm sure you do. Because one thing California got a lot of is a whole bunch of resources if you apply yourself. So, one risk factor, manageable, at risk but not as intense as the person with 4. So if you have 3 or more children, this is a risk factor. Okay, I'm talking about single mothers. I'm not talking about married women. This is single mothers. And when I say single, I use the biblical definition of what single is. So if you shacked up, you single, based to me. Okay, and what I think ain't important. But if you are single and you are someone who say they believe in God, say, I love Jesus, oh, thank you, Jesus. If you that kind of person, then this ought to be your standard, and this ought to be your definition of what singleness is as well. Okay, so if you are not married, you are single. If you have a boyfriend who is living in the home and may be some support, okay, you are still single. You got some support. This is a plus factor though, right? We're not going to discredit that support that boyfriend may provide as far as helping with bills. And I'm about to get real about. No, I'm gonna save that for that other part. Hold on. That's singleness. Hold on. Cause I ain't there yet. So 3 or more kids. Period. This is a lot to manage for a single mama, okay? Unmarried, we discussed that. This is a marker. Because a lot of times when we're single and we're not married, and even if it's okay, we are on that part. So that's my definition of what single is: not being married. Okay, if it ain't honored in the eyes of God, you a single woman. You may have help, you may have support in the home, you may have somebody in there going 50-50 with you, but this is still a risk factor. Okay, now I'm about to go a little bit deeper. Why is this a risk factor? Because I got a man. He there. He be helping me. He paid his bill. And woo, woo, woo. And woo, woo, woo. So now I'm about to get to the real. Women, it's a risk factor because a part of being in relationships, we get in them too, has a lot to do with our self-esteem and our self-worth, right? And if you are in a relationship that does not help you or contribute to you feeling whole, does not contribute to empowering you, does not contribute to you advancing in life and bettering your situation, and you feel like you got a man that lay with you, he lightweight help you, but at the same time you feel like you sleeping with the enemy because you feel like you got a dude that's really against you, this is a risk factor. Okay? Because that's not real support. And real support creates trauma. Lack of real support creates trauma. That's what I meant to say. Real support helps you to be resilient through trauma, through events. But if you have a man that, you know what I'm saying? Ladies, I don't want to go all the way into that because that ain't what this is for. Let's not act stupid. We know what time it is. You know, okay? If you got a dude that's a vampire and draining you emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, mentally, economically, and physically, you know what that is. And if you have that going on, that is a risk factor. Okay? If you are on subsidies, single ladies, and you have a guy that is messing with you or living with you off of your children's resources and eating their food, they snap food, okay? And your rent, I'm going to go ahead and shame the devil based on you and whatever you got on your paper. Your rent ain't nothing but 100 and something, if that. Because some of y'all got rent less than that. And you got a guy, I don't care how he get money, if he a street pharmacist or if he work. And he not footing all your bills. And you don't have a situation where you can't save no money. That is a risk factor. Okay? I'm going to say it again. If you are a single mother who gets subsidies, snaps, what they call that stuff, Section 8, and you got a guy who work and he living with you and your kids, and you are not able to stack money, you save money, or really take care of some issues that you need to take care of, probably like repair your credit and stuff like that, or buy some IRAs or with the whole life insurance policies. And if you not able to better yourself in that way and take care of these things that you really could benefit from taking care of, and this guy living with you at a discounted rate, that's a risk factor. And on top of that, you being used. And on top of that, you need to get out of there, okay? And then if you just need, you can't tame your body and you just gotta feel loved and regulated or whatever that is, then you need to go meet him somewhere, okay? Don't even bring that kind of guy over your children. And don't even allow your children to see you engaged in that kind of relationship over their heads, okay? Because that contributes to problems in the parent and child dynamic relationship. So I said that about singleness. An unmanaged home. If you have children that just don't have no structure, your home is just chaotic all the time, children are not on the schedule. For example, here go an actionable item. No, this is not actionable just yet. Yeah, if you have that going on, stuff like that, and there's no peace in the home, it's just chaotic, you need to provide some structure, okay? Money. Oh, normative age, influence. I discussed that. So these are the issues that you have with your child. Maybe, you know, as a parent relationship is chaotic, is something going on, they growing, y'all bumping heads, stuff like that. Hold on. It's storming outside. But I just got confused right quick. I don't even know. I know I went through this stuff. Hey, oh, I'm on a thing. What you need? How many? Yeah, not that whole bag. Okay. I really just got sidetracked. I know I went through here and listed some risk factors, but I think I'm supposed to be talking about actionable items. So if you got 3 or more children, I'm sorry. Apologies, y'all. 3 or more children. What is something you could do with that? Get your rest. Get you some breaks. Okay? Breaks is necessary for you to feel at peace, to show up. When you have a lot of kids, it is hard to find somebody to help you to watch those kids. So one of the things you can do, I'm sorry, y'all, I want to let y'all know because I had got sidetracked and I got confused. Excuse me, my little brain, my little mind. It's just what it is. But I'm giving actionable items and tools that we could do to manage these things. Because that's what I was supposed to do. I already listed the stuff. And I realized that what I started doing was listing the stuff again. That's that dyslexia. Or something. But anyway, you want to get breaks, okay? It may be hard for you to find somebody to watch all your kids at one time. So what can you do? You can divide your children up, okay, with people that you trust. Make sure these people that you asking to watch your kids, make sure they safe. Make sure they don't have a lot of friction and stuff. And, you know, the environments that you sending them to, make sure they safe and that you ain't got to worry about your kid going somewhere and they getting molested or towed up by, you know, getting harmed. Okay, so maybe you could, if you got 3 kids, maybe you can ask a grandmother, ask their daddies, okay? Ask the grandmothers on their father's side, ask aunties. And these is actionable items because I know sometimes we deal with cognitive dissonance, so we don't really know what to do. So some of the things you could do is ask cousins, aunties, relatives, grandmothers. Utilize the father side too. Y'all gotta stop plexing and beefing with these daddy sides, because you need to strengthen that support system. See, it's all about support. It's all about community. Okay, I know we've been very fractured and we've created a lot of in our communities where we don't want to deal with nobody, but it's time out for all that. Start building those relationships. Get in your mind. Go through your calendar. Select a day. Don't do a day where you have to work. Don't do that. Pick a date that's an off day. Even if you as a mother have to schedule a weekend, like request off, like 2 weeks ahead of time, 3 weeks ahead of time. You need to, single mamas, we need to plan this when we don't really have that support. If you don't have that support on speed dial, then you have to be very intentional about creating this day of rest and this day of restoration for yourself. So what you need to do is, like I said, contact any of those people. Pick a day and ask them, can you watch my child this day? Is it okay if my child come and spend a night? I don't have, and mamas, single mamas, we be tight on money. You may not have the money to give them, See, while y'all be sitting there giving away food stamps and selling, this is when you need to be buying food for other households, okay? I'm just being real, y'all. But tell them, look, I don't have money. I'm stretched. I'm pressed. Or if you do have money, shoot them a little something. But use your stamps and tell them, hey, I don't have money, but I'll buy the food for my kids, your kids. I'll provide the food for 2 days or whatever day my kid there. I'll buy dinner for the household. I'll buy breakfast for the household and lunch for the household. Do that for the households that you sending your kids. Okay? So that way these people watching your kids, they don't feel like, they just watching your kids, and then you sending them over there without even a means for them to provide and take care and feed your kids. So make sure you do that. Get with your job. Plan this day. Say to yourself, it's the beginning of the month. Say, you know what? I need a real break. You got 4 Saturdays in the month. Say the last Saturday of the month, I'm going to use that for my break. So you got from the first, you got 3 weeks to align and put all this stuff in place. Okay, we got to be intentional. Secure the location where the kids will go. If you have 1 or 2 kids, that's easier to get somebody to watch them. If you have 3 or more kids, you might have to divide them up. 2 at each home if they'll take them. Or you might have to do 1 at each home. However that is. Get it done. Find somebody. The same way you find somebody to watch your kids if you go out to the club. Okay? Do that. Make sure you request a day off. If you could do the weekend, do the weekend. If it's only 1 day you could do a month, then do just that. Okay? That's one thing you could do. Have that day off. Use that. Do not call a man over your home when you have this off day that you giving yourself this break, a break from your kids. Don't call no man over there to go to Pound Town on you, because they ain't gonna do nothing but possibly give you another baby that you gonna be struggling to take care of. So don't do that. Use this time to really sit with self. Clean your house. Wash your dishes. Wash all the clothes. Clean the kids' room. Get stuff out of the house that's cluttered. Organize your life. Use this time just to rest. I don't care if you sleep for 48 hours in your home or 24 hours in your home. Do just that. Feed yourself fruit. Don't be up in that house high as a kite, taking dope or whatever we do. Don't numb yourself. Maybe a little glass of wine or whatever. But use that time to depress, okay? If you unmarried and you single, actionable items. I just gave actionable item for more than 1 children. Find somebody to watch all those kids, even if you got to divide them up. Send food over there. Make sure your off day, you schedule an off day on with work. Make sure you pick a day or do it with, a weekend where you could just be off. Turn everything off. Turn off your phone. Well, don't turn off your phone because your kids going to be somewhere. But tell them to call only if it's emergency, because you really trying to, gather yourself and rest and release. Do not call no man over there to do the oochie coochie with you. Don't do that. Number 2, if you are unmarried, women, and if you are in these situations, if you have a man that's just leashing off of you, living off you and your kids' resources, and he just using you, and you just gotta have a relationship, and it's not a good one, work on, as a single mother, if you just have to have your alone time with a man to do whatever, women got to do or men got to do or whatever it is you feel you need to do, start dating out away from your kids. Meaning, or even if you date in front of your kids, here's some actionable items. Don't ever let your children see that man laying in your bed. I'm going to say it again. Do not ever let your children, a son or a daughter, see a man that is not your husband, that has not taken on you and them as his responsibility. Don't allow your children to see that man laying up in your bed. What? So what you need to do, put those kids down, meaning put them on a schedule, make sure they sleep. If you just gotta, whatever, however you date, let that man come to your house when them kids sleep. Put that man out of your house before the kids wake up. I'm just being real. God, that's harsh. This is an actionable item that we need to do as single mamas, because a lot of the barriers and attachment problems we having with our children is because they see us bonding with these men in a way that we don't bond with them. Okay, so that's an actionable item for that. Don't let these men, if a man is living with you and you do have this kind of situation going on, you need to have a conversation with this man and let him know, look, you are in my life so that my life can be in a better position for me to do what I got to do concerning me and my children. And if that's a problem, then we need to date differently. But if you're going to be in my house, and since I'm on Section 8 and I get food stamps or whatever y'all be doing to work it, because y'all, come on now, ladies, this is what's going on. Quit playing. For the women that's in this situation. If you're not in this situation, I'm not talking to you. If this ain't you, this ain't for you. Get off this live. Don't even watch this. But send it to somebody that is dealing with this. Tell him that because he is living at a discounted rate and below, your rent is below market rent, then there is a requirement that he pay all in bills. Because your rent probably $100. And if it's not all the bills, at least at least half or more than half, enough for you to be able to start putting some money to the side and saving your money and putting, a saving account and stuff for your children that you will need for evacuation for hurricane season or whatever you got to do. Okay. If you are unmarried and the man is not providing the kind of support that will allow you some financial relief, you need to get him out of there. And you need to just hook up with him, let him shoot you, or whatever kind of situation y'all got on. Carry that on outside of your household so your children don't see it. That's what I'm going to say about that. Or keep your legs closed and wait on the right one. Them the options. That's the actionable item for that. If you're a unmanaged household, get your children on the schedule. Before I adopted my children, and even after, I've gotten way more lenient. My kids are older. But when my kids was, younger, all my children would sleep by 8 o'clock in my house. What? That's too early. No, it's not. It's called structure. Okay? Let me explain why. The average child, if you put them down for 8 o'clock, it take them an hour and a half to 2 hours to actually fall asleep. Okay? So if they down for 8, they really probably gonna doze off by 10 o'clock. 9:30, 10. So if you can, because some of the mamas, single mamas, you may not be working at all. Some of y'all may be working and you can't do it that early. But whatever the case, get pick a designated time for your children bedtime. Create routine, create structure. That is what's going to help you with this unmanaged household. That is what's going to help you create a sense of peace and quietness for you and your children to feel relaxed, okay? Give them some melatonin. It's okay. It's safe. Feed them their dinner. Have them take their bath. Brush their teeth. Get in the bed. I'm talking about little kids, little people. I'm not talking about no 18-year-old and 17-year-old and 16-year-olds. But in my house, even, you 16 on a school night, if you in school in my household, you got a bedtime. It may not be as early as the younger ones, but you need to be bed. But see, my kids, they done been so structured for so long, they put their own self to sleep early. I don't even have to tell them, and they wake their own self up. The older ones, not the little one. But he put himself to sleep at his normal time. Why? Because it's routine now. So every now and then I might have to be like, hey, get in that bed, but after that it's done. So pick a time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever time you could do. Have them fed, bathed, brush their teeth, to bed. Do not allow them to watch nothing that is going to keep them up all night. For my little one, I normally put on, my friends be laughing at me like, girl, you funny. But I tell mines in a minute, hey, turn that YouTube off. Put it on some Jesus cartoons. I put it on, have him watch Jesus cartoons. Hey, cousin. Or something like that. Just to kind of soothe him down. Something that'll be easy for him to fall asleep on. And stuff like that. But routine is what's going to help you create structure in your household and help you relieve some of that pressure and that, sense of overwhelmness. That is very important for little kids. If you have not had started that already and we lack that, have a conversation with your kids. Like, as a parent, there's nothing wrong with owning up and admitting to our kids like, hey, up until now, I have not done this because I didn't have this information. But now that I have it, I'm going to apologize for not having it. But now that I know it, this is what we're doing. And I know it's going to feel different because I wasn't doing it before, but I didn't know what I know now. So this is what we're doing. And just have that conversation with them. Let them know why you're doing this. Let them know the benefits. I'm putting structure in your life because it's going to help you with school. It's going to help you with your ADHD. I've been letting you just run rampant and it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for me. And, whatever. Okay? Do that. Create structure. If you have kids, kids need chores. Okay? Chores build confidence in kids. As single mamas, that's another thing why we feel overwhelmed. We be trying to clean and do everything. Assign chores to them kids. I don't take out trash in my house. I got a 10-year-old son. He a little boy and man in the making. He take out all the trash out the house. He put up all the dishes. Okay? Because as a single mom, we have to realize that we cannot do everything. And we have to delegate and give tasks to our children, not because we need them to run the house and do it because we can't, and that's none of that. It's because it's what gotta get done. And in order for you to be able to teach them responsibility, build their confidence, build accountability into them, you're going to have to designate some things to them. My daughters, they rotate dishes and clothes. I do my clothes sometimes, most, whatever, but they alternate. That's the chore. Malachi put up dishes and take out trash. I do everything else. The girls, they do their upstairs bathroom. Oh, and they responsible for their room. Now, Malachi, he's smaller. He do, of course, I have to go in there and do the real cleaning for him. But he, for the most part, he more junky. I got to tell him daily, hey, go pick that, But this is what I have to do. If not, my house would probably look disgusting. And I can't live like that. I got stuff out of place, but I don't live in filth. Okay. And so when, as single moms, we don't give these kids these kind of responsibilities, and all they doing is creating filth on the daily. One day you're going to look up in your house, just be nasty. And then you trying to date somebody. And then these guys, they don't tell you this, but they'll come in there and do the nasty with you in your house, with your kids in there in that filthy house. But in their mind, they be thinking to themselves, I'll make a baby with her, I'll sleep with her, I'll do this, but I'm gonna mess with some other. Like they'll be messing with something else, that's somebody that's cleaner, somebody that manage their household better. That's a whole nother topic. But do that. Create structure in your house. Assign chores to your kids. Put them to bed early. Get their ass some melatonin. Okay? If your children have ADHD, you don't like them on a lot of medication, start giving them ashwagandha to help calm them down, relax them. Okay? Give them that. And see how that go. And get them some melatonin before they go to bed. I keep stressing that. And then on weekends, you let them stay up late. What time is it? Okay. So that's, some of the, issues we have with kids that can be a risk factor that could contribute to toxic stress as a single parent. Normative age graded influence. So there's the scripture that says, children, obey your parents. And it talks about like them obeying them and honoring them. And it adds years to their life, right? And then after that, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't know it word for word, but there's this scripture that refers to a parent not, what's the word? Provoking their children. And so when you hear, provoking your children, how do we provoke our children in our communities? Sometimes we provoke our children, and that is what creates some of the conflict that we have with them at certain ages of their life. One of the provoking that we do as single mamas, especially if you have a son, having men over their head, and the man has not really shown himself to be genuinely caring about his mother, the boy's mother, or even her children. And believe it or not, children could pick up if, they could pick up if a person is really genuine or they're not. And so one of the ways we provoke and cause this grade influence, normative age graded influence in our kids is by having these men over our children as single women. They see us give our time, our attention, our affection, all of this stuff, all of these emotional resources and bandwidth that we really need to be given to them to help them develop. That time is being pulled, those resources is being pulled, that bandwidth is being pulled away from our children who we really responsible for, and we turning it towards these men. Or men, y'all turning it towards these females. That provokes issues between the parental relationship, between the parent and child relationship. That's one way to provoke a child. Now the child start being disrespectful. Now the child start not listening. Now the child start, just having these issues on top of the issues that they're dealing with in their own bodies for going through puberty or hormonal change, or the changes of adolescence, and peer pressure, and, not knowing their own identity. These are things that could be stressors. So what can you do to correct that, to help that? Make a night. If you can't do every week, every other week. I know it's overwhelming. I'm just trying to give us some actionable items that we could implement that can stabilize us so that we don't end up in the crisis mode. Just have game night on a night when you're off. Get some board games. Get some Uno. Pop some popcorn. Watch just one movie. It would say, hey kids, come on. Make some snacks. Make some nachos or whatever, right? Create a pallet on the floor and have them pick a movie, flip coins and watch a movie. And that right there would be enough to help your children feel secure and develop that healthy attachment with you, and help to strengthen your bond with them so that they don't feel so neglected. Okay? So what did I say about to address this issues that we may have between the parent and the child relationship? If not once a week, I know it's hard. You may be a mother, single mom, working, going to school, raising the kids, doing this, appointments. I just listed all the stuff that we got to do. Go watch that video that I did earlier. It's overwhelming, okay? So let's just be realistic. And I want to pause and say this. Pause. The reality is this. Single mama and single father. There are some areas in your child's life that you just gonna fail at. Bottom line. So, let that reality sink in. And you're not failing them intentionally. You're not feeding into the lion's den intentionally. But just be realistic. If you got 4 children and you one parent, there is no human way that you are going to be able to reach and develop and address and support and nurture and feel every aspect of their life. That is impossible. So be real with yourself with that, and be real with your children with that. I tell my children, I have told them on several occasions, and I still tell them, baby, I apologize for this real truth. There's some areas in your life that I'm a fail. And I know I am, because it's not enough of me to go around to all y'all. Own that. and then share that with them so that they could be secure and put that thing and rightfully divide those feelings of feeling inadequate and feeling neglected. Because now you done provided them with information like, when the enemy try to come and torment them, nobody care about you. Well, they gonna say, well, nah, that ain't true, enemy. My mama care about me. The reality is this. She show up for me here. She show up for me there. She show up for me there. She may not be able to do this, but she do this, she do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it helps our children to rightfully divide their experiences, okay? And put their experiences in the right context. So, do that. Make sure you do that. Own that. Do not, like the Bible say, provoke your children. Another thing that we do is provoke our children. Outside of school, work, providing for them, which is work. And if you may be, I don't know, going to school or something, outside of, and taking care of you, because your healthiness and your state of mind, that needs to be anchored and handled and addressed and anchored first and foremost, because you the captain of the ship. The daddies ain't there. These children is dependent on you to sail this baby in without a shipwreck. So you have to take care of self, right? You got to support self. So get these kids into counseling. If you have to get you into counseling first, then get you into counseling first. Stabilize you, okay? Because the more you get stabilized, the more you able to show up for them, the less provoking you'll do with them. And provoking them to make, have these chaotic lives. So don't provoke them. Get them in some counseling. Don't have men laying over their heads. Don't be switching off them boyfriends every so often. If you are dating as a single woman, I'm being realistic. Date. Do it modest. Do it in a have some coof about it. Wait till your kids go to sleep. Sneak the man in the house. Make sure you put him out before the kids wake up. Don't ever let your children wake up and see a man laying in your bed. That's not your husband. Have the man start taking you to a room and spend the night with them, or go to their house for the weekend. Do not spend, or a day. Do not be spending all your time outside of providing for your children with a man. Outside of providing for your children as a single mama, you have to make sure you giving them some one-on-one quality time. That's how you don't provoke them. By making sure you develop and secure attachments with them. And I know it's overwhelming. Again, the actionable item is once every other week, make a date night with your kids. It don't cost no money. Bake a cake. Bake a cake with them in the kitchen. Have one do the frosting. Do an activity. Do something. It don't have to take all night. It could just be an hour. It could be 30 minutes. But make sure you give them a certain amount of time with your undivided attention on them. Okay? Help do that. Especially if you a street runner. Especially if you a busybody, a woman who can't sit her butt down and stay in the house, and you be up and down the highways and the byways and running the streets. You most definitely need to be making sure you're doing date night with your kids, okay? And putting some quality time into them. So that's that. Not enough money. Actionable item. You ladies that's on subsidy, welfare, SNAP, start transitioning to get your life off of that. Start transitioning to get your household off of those subsidies. What you mean? In our community, we have a lot of people and individuals who do not further their education because they don't want to deal with the because of for a lot of factors, okay? Some of the factors is learning disabilities. Some of the factors is just not feeling good enough, secure enough. Some of the factors is fear of not being able to learn. There's support for this. Reach out to some developmental resources. But whatever the case, single mothers that do not have a bachelor's or master's degree or no skill or selling insurance, something, and you just on subsidy, get off of it. Meaning transition your life, go back to school, get you a degree. Ladies, stop going to these schools, getting these bill code jobs and what they call that, like I forget what they call, but they like little nurse aid programs where you could and nobody know about them. Like you could go get those degrees and get those certificates, but stop going to those rinky-dink schools that just take your money and don't even really teach you. Start going to these reputable junior colleges and colleges to get these skills, okay? Reach out to your resources in your community that deal with rehabilitation for the workforce, okay? Your actionable item for if you are a single mother working more than one job, getting minimum wage. This is the actionable item. Go to school. Get a degree. Find something you're good at. Find something that you love. Go to school, get a degree, and get yourself in a higher pay bracket so that you don't need no government subsidy and all of this stuff. And then once you get out of school, make it your duty. You don't have to go buy no big old mansion, 2-story big home, all of that. We're not even in that place no more. That's over, okay? We're living life to survive and your bare minimum. Get you a home that you could afford, that you can pay off, that you could leave to your children as an inheritance. Okay? And then teach your children to do the same. That's what you do for the economic and, part of the stress of having no money or too little money. Make it up in your mind that you about to get off these little minimum wage bullcorn jobs and, go to school and get you a degree or get you a skill. I don't know, welding, process operator, CDL. I don't see. And I'm going to say this. Before you go get into school, go Google and ask, was it Chat GPT or whatever it's called? Ask them what jobs that AI will wipe out or what jobs AI will take. And whatever those jobs are, do not go to school for that. Whatever those jobs are, already start educating and teaching your children that they will not be going to school for none of those things. Already start talking to your sons about getting going to school to become an electrician. Talk to your sons about going to school for getting their welding. Talk to your sons about going to school for carpentry to build. Okay? Single mothers, get your sons off them streets. Get them, force their butts to school, and make sure they getting these skills. And then from there, with that skill, they could go to college. Okay? What else about that economic thing, the financial part? So get off, transition to get off of subsidies by going to school. Get you some skill sets that's gonna make you, put you in a better financial pay bracket. Start educating your sons and daughters to get a skill. Sons, start talking to your sons about going to school for electrician, welding. Check with CDL. CDLs is good now. There are some states that's going to continue to have CDL. The reason why I say check with CDL, because some businesses will be investing into the trucks that drive themselves. That's why I say look into that. It's another thing about financial. Purchase a home that you could afford. Get you a home that, let that be your goal, that you are going into home ownership, and you're not going to buy the biggest 5-bedroom home with 4 bedrooms and pool in the back. Focus on buying a starter home, okay? A nice little something to start off with. Okay, nothing real massive and big, just a starter home, and then, pay that off, and, I don't know, get into some, okay, of course, financial literacy class, what we all need, and where to go from there. But start there. But it was something else about financial for mothers to do, single moms. Oh, well, I can't think of it now. I can't think of it. Oh, quit going to those schools that are not real accredited schools. Like those little nursing bill, what they call it, nursing coding and stuff like that. Them little rinky-dink schools. Stop going to them kind. Go to a real accredited school. If you're embarrassed and shame about or feel like you can't, not smart enough, get some resources. Okay, get you some resources. We ain't at a time where we can't afford to be letting embarrassment stop us. There's all of our mothers that are care providers. This is something that they don't teach African American women that's care providers. They sit there and let y'all do that until you can't do it no more, where you live a lifetime, caring for people, and they pay you little money. But the Caucasian women, the Hispanic women, and the Asian women, when they work in them programs, they tell them girls to go to school, get their CNA, move up to a LVN, move up to a RN, and then if they smart enough, nurse practitioner. I'm telling you, women that's doing that, if you're a care provider, you are a registered nurse that just have not went to school yet. So consider going to go to school for that. Work your way up. But if you're a care provider, you need to be working on becoming a registered nurse. And that'll take care of all. And then you could tell the government and everybody else, F them. Okay? Spending. Wasteful spending. Single mothers, I see this a lot. Again, I'm talking about a particular single mother. There's some single mothers that this don't apply to. If you a single mom, you are in a good pay bracket. You have no struggles. You don't deal with the struggles of ghetto life or those things that come with growing up in the hood and poverty and lack, because you've been able to do the work on your life and raise yourself out of them circumstances. This don't apply to you. This apply to the women that's still in that place. Okay? Women that I see a lot of times on these subsidy things, these same women I see with them blinged out nails, every time I see them, they got the newest iPhone. What, iPhone 25? I don't know. The lace fronts with the baby hair, and I've seen it. When I get my taxes. One time I left out the tax place crying. Well, I didn't cry. We're in there. I got in my car and started crying. Because where I go, the people I get tax from, they also sell good quality hair. And these women was going to cash their income tax check and coming right back. I seen one girl pay, I think she put down like $3,000, $2,000 to $3,000 on some hair. You heard me? She got her income tax, went, cashed it, came back to the place and paid $2,000-$3,000 for some hair for her and her daughter. That is insanity. And anybody that is on Section 8 and getting snaps have no business walking around with them long nails that cost $100, $80 to $100. Have no business with the latest and newest iPhone. And have no business walking around with all them bundles and lace fronts. You just don't have no business. If you are on that kind of subsidy and you paying $100, $5, $6, because some women is paying $6, $10 I hear for rent, and some paying nothing, and you not in school, you not trying to better yourself to get off of that stuff, and you find the money you do get, you invest it and pay for hair, lashes, and nails, and bundles and stuff. That is mental illness, ladies. And that is wasteful spending. And that right there is a marker. Hey, sister. And that right there is a sign or a risk factor. Or let me say that. That behavior is something that puts you at risk for, high risk for, like, being a single mother with toxic stress. And so, because if you could spend $3,000 for some hair with your taxes, you could take that same $3,000 and say you is on some, you could take that same $3,000 and put that in the IRA and have them put that in an account and just let them take the monthly fee for your IRA every month. And if you can't do it in your name, you can have somebody else, put a policy on you. Make sure it's somebody that won't knock you off for it too. Because, we acting like white folk now, But, those are the things you could do that's more important, or save the money. Especially if you living in Texas, we get hurricane season every year. Sometimes there's a need for evacuation. Some of these mamas can't even evacuate and get their kids to safety. Some of them don't even have vehicles. Like, and when you do go get your taxes, you go buy a brand new showroom car. Get a cash car. You can't afford it. Like, stop doing wasteful spending and buy what you need. Instead of spending $3,000, $2,000 on some hair, and you got a son and a daughter who ain't doing well in school, you could take half of that money and pay for your child to go to some like learning tutor thing where you pay for these resources for them. So when I talk about wasteful spending, I'm talking about putting your money not where you want and where you value, which is BS, but putting your money where you need it and needing to develop, better value systems. So most of our kids, especially if you live in Beaumont, Beaumont just made the news for being the dumbest, the least educated of the whole state of Texas. Beaumont, Texas. So that let me know that the whole Beaumont, just about every parent, when it comes to national levels is functioning. That let me know that if we as mothers gonna be spending any money, and fathers, we don't need to be spending money on Jordans. We don't need to be spending money on lace fronts. We don't need to be spending money on iPhones. We don't need to be spending money on nails. We don't need to be spending money on lashes. We need to be spending our money and our resources into some educational resources for our children to get developed and get to their level of functioning where they need to be. And anything outside of that is wasteful. Period. And when we do these kind of wasteful spending, parents, no matter where we at, where we live, that is a recipe for disaster. So again, I listed, this video was long. It wasn't supposed to be this long because I ended up messing up in the beginning and got sidetracked. That's the ADHD. See what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get diagnosed till I was later in life. A lot of us women older in life, see, this is why we're not functioning well, mothers. And I hate to say, like, not calling on the daddies, but come on now, we don't have time to be dwelling on what we don't have. We are in a place where we have to assess the situation and start implementing actionable items to change our situation. And one thing we do see is that them daddies ain't present like that. They ain't consistent. So what that mean? That mean it fall on you, mama. It's on you. Once you decide, ooh, I like him, we go together, I'm gonna have his baby, knowing that he got 5 other kids that you don't ever see him with, but you still decide to have a baby with him, then you don't know this because you're operating from a cognitive dissonance. But when we lay down and have a baby with a man who have 3-4 other children by 3-4 other women, and he don't help them consistently, he not going to get them kids every week, he not helping them women, he not calling all them households every day, just saying, hey, I ain't got time to talk, but daddy just wanted to check in with you, see how your day went, tell you I love you. If he's not doing that with the other 4 kids, then I'm going to just be real, women, mothers, our vulnerable community. That is insane that you think it will be any different with you. Let me paraphrase. That means that you're dealing with mental illness. That means that your brain ain't functioning right. That means that in your thinking, there is some form of retardation. And I'm not using these words to be insultive, but I'm using these direct words so that we can really grasp and get an understanding of what we're dealing with. Okay? So if you're doing this, then the reality is it's going to all be on you. So any of these things, if you have one of these issues, I would say as a single mom, we are at risk. But one issue, that does not necessarily mean that, we can't build some tools that can help us, overcome those barriers and snap out of it. But if we have 4 of these things, any one of these things I listed and named, that means that we are headed to a crisis mode, or it means that we are already in a crisis mode, or it means that we have been in a crisis mode and now we in PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Okay? And it means that we need to get some support. And it means that we need to alter or completely change some of our behaviors. And it means that you can't do it all at once. And it also means that you can start by doing one thing at a time to slowly start removing these stress factors, these crisis situations, and these issues that is not good. Little by little, one thing at a time, okay? Don't get overwhelmed. Life is already overwhelmed as a single mama. One thing at a time, okay? I'm going to get off. I got to get my own self situated. I just wanted to get on here because I said earlier in my video that it would be beneficial if I could come back and talk about some actionable items that we can implement as single mothers to reduce our stress levels. And I wanted to. And I listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't list 7, but let me tell you what 7 is. Absent fathers. If you have kids and their fathers ain't around, that's a risk factor. Okay? If you have kids and the fathers don't help you financially consistently, that's a risk factor. And so that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 risk factors I listed and talked about. And for each of those 7 risk factors, I gave some actionable items, some tools that we could implement in our life to start decreasing those crises or decreasing the stress levels and begin to turn in that situation and making that situation more healthier for us and more healthy for our children, and help us to create a more healthy, secure, consistent, reliable, thriving environment and healthy environment for our children and us to live and thrive in. Good night. Love y'all, beautiful people. I'm sorry this video took so long because, like I said, I stumbled in the front in the beginning, but it took long, but hope you watch it. Hope it's helpful. If you know a single mother that is, if you know a single mother, share this with her. A single mother that have any one of these factors, share it with her. Send it to her messenger, or hey y'all, I need y'all to go to YouTube and type in Gradually Rebuilding Yourself and subscribe to that channel. Please, please, please. That's what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to do that. What I do is I go upload these videos I do here. I upload them on YouTube, where I'm creating this little, little station for, some resource and, just, we got to heal, man. We all got something that we could contribute to. We all could do something to help our community. And y'all is getting to the place where we're going to have to really help each other and love each other, okay? I love stars. Thank you, sister. My sister just gave me 99 stars. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, thank you, sister. You always support me. I love you. Oh, by the way, I sent your oil off. And in your package, there are 2 bottles, of course, we discussed. And the one with the label on it, that is the one that is the olive oil. That is the avocado. And I don't know how to say this word, jojoba. I don't know. I think I'm saying it wrong. But jojoba. I tear a word up. But anyway, I use those 2 oils for you for the substitute for the heavier oils. But it's still grapeseed oil in there, and it is still coconut oil in that one. Okay. But I sent the packages off, and it's supposed to be there Saturday. Thank you for my star sister. But again, y'all, go to YouTube, right? Just log into YouTube. Of course, you're going to have to put in your little, what is it called? Email address. And type in Gradually Rebuilding Yourself. And just hit subscribe. Please, 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 please. Because when I get on here and talk, I know I'll be rambling a lot. But I'm talking about real things that I've encountered that a lot of people in my community and communities like mine struggle with. And the Black experience is very big, and it's very vast, and there's levels to this shit. Okay? It is levels to this Black experience. What I experienced and what other people like me in my community experienced, that has experienced the things that I've experienced, that is a different experience from another African American experience, who you don't have to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth, but a middle class experience, or experience where you didn't have all of these high risk factors in your environment. That is different experiences, okay? And so the things that I get on here and talk about, it's not for everybody. Everybody have not grew up and survived the crack era. Everybody did not survive and go through the dope era. Everybody did not grow up and literally see in their environment or their community where they was going to funerals every other day or every week, burying the peer. That everybody don't experience that. Not everybody go to 2 funerals in one day sometimes. That's not everybody experience. Okay? Not everybody experience being so economically deprived that they go and commit crime just to be able to get the kind of money that they need to be able to take care of the responsibilities that they have. And not everybody is make the decision to do that. So their experience is just different. So everybody don't get this. Hey cousin, did that oil come and are you using it? And if so, and any progress, please shoot me a picture, or you could send me a text. I need it for my advertisement. I hope it's working. Yeah, I hope it's working. But hey, cousin. So, yeah, but if you can share this, thank you, sister, for my stars. Thank you so much. Again, y'all, please go on YouTube and go to Gradually Rebuilding Yourself and just hit subscribe and like. If you could do all videos, that'd be great. But if it's just one video, I don't care. Just subscribe and like. It don't even matter which one. Because I know that our experiences is real. I know that a lot of us is suffering in silence. And that's where the enemy get full range on us, because the enemy is able to isolate us when we feel alone, when we feel we the only ones. But my therapist told me today, today I was on here talking about, I was crying earlier and got to therapy and didn't even talk about what I was crying about, was talking about something else, which initially is what I wanted to talk about anyway. Because thanks to Facebook, when I got on here and talked about it this morning, the struggles of being a single mother, that was enough for me to dump and feel better about that. So I was able to address what I needed to address in therapy. And guess my therapist gonna tell me, well, baby, everybody ain't willing to be that Marilyn Monroe and stand over that vent and let their dress fly up in the air and expose everything. I love that analogy. And I didn't get it. And I was like, after I got it, I was like, oh, I get it. I get on here and I do get vulnerable. And I do expose my vulnerabilities. And I do talk about stuff that I go through and real experiences that I battle or that our community deal with. And what I gather from that, we all need a Marilyn Monroe. We all need that person that is bold enough. Well, we don't need a Marilyn Monroe, what she was doing, but I get her analogy on that image, that famous image that we see of Marilyn Monroe with that dress, and is like, we all need somebody that is willing to share their struggles and their problems and how God has helped them, because in that, it helped us to overcome. It give us hope. Like I'm a true believer that our struggles and what God do with us do give other people hope. Love y'all. Cousin, please let me know how that oil worked. Inbox, tell me, show me some pictures if you can. Sister, thank you for my stars. I really, I love getting stars. Thank you. I love getting stars, y'all. If y'all want to send me some stars, thank you. I would appreciate that. I would. I bet you never seen nobody get as happy as I get behind stars. I really like the stars. I don't know what they mean, but I think eventually I could be able to, do something with them. But I get them. I thank you. I love them. I know it's, hey, but love y'all. Good night.